Right, welcome. Good morning to Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Last night, after the magical Bernabeu session and the things that happened at the Santiago de Bernabeu on Champions League night, then now, Becca, it's Madrid. It's the celestial club of the world. Essentially the best club of we are saying. Then now, Becca. You can't do anything about it. And after the game, Josep Guardiola said it is the best team that won. And I think that over the two legs, Madrid were essentially the best team. You cannot say anything about it. They were super on the ball, off the ball. And you see, I think that at the beginning, not a problem for Madrid. At the beginning of the season, not a problem for Madrid. It's fast becoming their strength. And now Mbappe understands. I said, oh, Shabona, Mbappe ni Vinicius Junior. Oh, tell him I come back. Also change, also come back. Okay, Makomi, also change, come okay, Makomi and also change, come like it makes a lot of sense now. The understanding is there now. After the interview, Jude Bellingham was asked about Abrante and Rodrigo Goes, and he made a lot of sense about Rodrigo. Said hugely underrated. He also wants to play on the left hand side. But Mane on the right hand side, the work he does on and off the ball for Madrid on the right hand side, you will give him a lot of the credit, and he deserves it. He deserves it for how good of a player in the job that he does in the Madrid. Just it's a huge one for him, and you give him a lot of the credit. And yesterday, I think for me, I did a climax all of the conversations, the facts after match, and a Cristiano Ronaldo, on Instagram, posting Mbappe. A young Mbappe picture, and Ocho was it is my time to also watch you take over the Santiago Bernabeu. And truly, Cristiano Ronaldo called. I think that he had a good time watching Kylian Mbappe. Mbappe also wanted to his Instagram not say, this is how the magical nights of the Bernabeu feel like, question mark over them. And that's the magical night of Santiago Bernabeu. And every time they have been talking about it, every time he wanted to be there. On time on any Mame Faisal and Papa Wilfred, all of them are more planning a journey, the career plan. Essentially, he had a certain chapter, had Real Madrid and the Santiago Bernabeu. He had hat-trick at the Santiago Bernabeu against the greatest manager of all time in Josep Guardiola. But to be very honest with you, I think the experience probably is the most important thing in the DBA, and calmness. And Carlo Ancelotti has taught me that lesson in the last few months. We banned a lot of backlash even from Madrid fans, and a lot of the times it's been fair also because fans didn't believe it. Sometimes Madrid have just not found that balance that they needed, both in the middle of the park and also at centre back and HL many anymore. But Carlo Ancelotti has found what works for him. He has found the balance, and he has found it in Abrante and Dani Ceballos. And what should Dani Ceballos? Now show how Dani Ceballos is a control game. And I've said it several times here, for Dani Ceballos, and you're just on the ball and you man over. It's not just he controlling the ball, but off the ball. Ujaniako, the attacking area, back. Box to box at Jimana Dani Ceballos. It has been really good one for him. And Real Madrid deserve to go through. They deserve to get that qualification, our Champions League, to the round of 16. And there is a big one possibly between Atletico de Madrid, but this season, too much Madrid and Atletico Abona has ended up in a draw. If Madrid find Atletico de Madrid and as they find Bayern Leverkusen, they are all two games that are going to be there for the taking for them. Atletico one is going to be more intense because El Chojo knows how to play with Madrid, and on Carlo Ancelotti, they were very close head-to-head in matches that they've played involving Atletico de Madrid and Real Madrid. It's especially the year Ebeko also match but the really interesting games that will come up. Paris Saint-Germain now really blown away team my friend of Brest. Somebody says they mishandled and manhandled Brest over there, and that's exactly what Paris Saint-Germain did by beating Brestois by 6-7 goals to 0. Good quality stuff from team my friend in Paris Saint-Germain. Another hugely underrated team, Moshe Juma Luis Enrique in the last few months to restructure the team. Desiree Joe was doing the onslaught on the other side of the wing, and of course there was a bunch of friend Badi Bakol and also Yene Juma Then you would have a branch here, your friend Gonzalo Ramos sometimes centrally, or there is Usman Dembele. Sometimes you can have a branch here, your friend Vicha Kvaratskhelia, and you can tell. So this is a purely good team from that solid team, and how good that they have been. When you give them a lot of credit for how good that they have been, we wait to see how that is going to pan out in terms of the solidity of the team and how good Paris Saint-Germain have been in recent times now. Especially how those things are going to go in all of those conversations around everything that's going on in the various clubs now, Champions League. And then there have been big conversations around Chelsea Football Club, any Chelsea ownership now. Enzo Maresca, and now Chelsea owners now are beginning to discuss Enzo Maresca and what he brings to the team and how they want to make sure everything is going to go on well for them. And now, after the Madrid game, Vinicius Jr. also went onto Instagram and Twitter and posted, okay. Over here in the first league, Vini called today. If he had there was a tifo up Manchester City for an or Hormone said, stop crying your heart out over there in Vinicius Jr. conversations and now after saying he qualified, he says okay. Obviously, he will stop crying his heart out because he has gone through. Erling Haaland was on the bench and, of course, couldn't influence the game at all. In the Kylian Mbappe scored a hat-trick, but they'll find a way to give Vinicius Jr. or Jude Bellingham the Ballon d'Or shout instead. Of course, for me, I think that's Kylian Mbappe and how good that they were on the day. He was brilliant, and you can't take anything away from him. Everything that he did over there, you give credit to Kylian, Luton, Mbappe, and now what happened is that on the 27th of February, Chelsea co-owner, our friend Todd Boehly, is going to talk in Financial Times. He will talk about Enzo Maresca, talk about the project, talk about players on talk about what Chelsea can do in the relationship with Clearly. These are all huge conversations that Chelsea co-owner, our friend Todd Boehly, is going to have on the 27th of February when he begins to talk about the club in financial, an interview about finances and football and stuff like that since he became, since the Chelsea owner, and it's very important over there. Maresca told his team what after the Friday 3-0 loss at the Amex Stadium that their opponents had wanted to win more, and that injuries could not be used as easy excuse over there. Whatever happens, come to the end of the campaign, all will be analyzed at Chelsea. They will look at where they can improve and what is missing, and they are already asking Maresca what he needs help with, while search answers and young head coach as a young head coach in his first Premier League campaign. And I think that is something that I'm all for. I can't several times say I don't think Maresca is a bad coach. I think that Chelsea have been in a tough situation with Enzo Maresca and the things that are going on. But really, Chelsea cannot afford to miss out on top four. Chelsea ain't me afford it. And a little bit more difficult because I will share league standings, any league conversations now. In the last few days, Aston Villa played against Liverpool. Liverpool could not get a maximum points around them. Now, Aston Villa team now, or the Baby share Chelsea. And now, I saw a lot of Chelsea fans say, hey, Axel de Sassi, Bobo, our Villa. And I've said it several times. It is different when you play in a team where opponents don't press you aggressively. When Villa plays, most teams don't press them aggressively. They allow them to have the ball because the thought is that almost center backs are kind of the best in terms of line breaking, and they don't do that job. Now, so at Chelsea, the pressure is going to be on you to have the ball and break lines, and that is where teams will press you aggressively to make mistakes, and that's where Axel de Sassi's shortcomings usually are blown out of proportion. Usually, he's been exposed. Axel de Sassi was good, but for me, look at the midfield of team my friend Aston Villa. Look at John McGinn or Fiifi-Manfred. Look at Abrantia friend Rogers. Look at Abrantia. At some point in time, Marco Asensio was playing as a 10 with team. Then you have Marcus Rashford and Oli Watkins. This is proper firepower for team my friend Aston Villa. And again over the weekend, I'm over against Chelsea. How Chelsea go into this game is very important. Chelsea losing to Villa is going to be really huge. It's a game where Chelsea needs to find a way to win, and it's an away game. Chelsea are not going to play at home in a long time. This is a game that you need to go on and win. And this weekend, because Nottingham Forest and Man City now playing really competitive games. Liverpool against Man City, Nottingham Forest I think against Newcastle United or so. So these are all tough games that these guys can drop points. Chelsea has to find a way to beat Fiifi-Manfred and Villa and then go back into the top 4, and then hopefully in the next few games they can be able to cement it. And Chelsea for they are looking ahead of the curve in terms of what they can do in the January transfer. I don't think that Chelsea for are going to sack Enzo Maresca as a manager. They see him going on to play for the very, very long term. What the Chelsea owners and directors really do feel over there now. Chelsea and a new analyst, new first team performance analyst, and Chelsea have hired Woody Dewa as their new head of performance analysis after James Melbourne departed to join Thomas Tuchel in the England staff. And Chelsea new performance analyst, first team. Brent here, your friend Woody Dewa, top analyst. The last time I had Jumanoni, Wolverhampton Wanderers for manager, friend Gary O'Neill, and I had Jamal Hornum, and I've said Gary O'Neill is actually a good manager. You're not taking it away from him. So this weekend, considering Chelsea's recent form, how many points do we expect the Blues to gather from the next 4 Premier League games? Chelsea against Aston Villa 6:30 on Saturday. Chelsea and Southampton on Tuesday, February 25th. Hornum at home. Then on March 9th, Chelsea against Leicester City. Fiifi as well. Then Chelsea go away to go and play against your friend of Arsenal at the Emirates. Arsenal are chasing the league. I think that the next 3 games should all be win games over them. To be honest, I'm not so confident about beating Villa, and I think that's what cuts across. Villa team now, it's going to be really difficult for Chelsea to stand them. We have no striker to exploit their high line, and our intensity is weak at the moment. They are very similar to Brighton. A draw at Villa Park won't be bad, so I'll say 7 points over them. For me, I think that's what Chelsea need to do. Chelsea has to find a way to beat Aston Villa. Chelsea really has to find a way to beat Aston Villa. Yes, it's a question of physicality and the lack of striker, but Chelsea needs to apply intensity. Intensity has to come. And I kind of said, in the last few days, Chelsea training session has been hugely based on intensity. As a Chelsea fan, really want to use a lot of intensity in a game against Villa, because that's how you get results against Fiifi-Manfred Aston Villa. Doing a lot of intensity work, making sure everything was going to go, because without a striker, Chelsea are just like a Madrid versus Manchester City without Erling Haaland. You want to make sure you go in there and then become the most important player. You have a lot of intensity, win second balls, win duels, and then to be able to transit the ball, get results in there, force the issue. Rangers head of performance Tom Taylor has left after 14 months to become the lead or head physical performance coach at Chelsea. Prior to working at Rangers, Taylor was athletic development and reconditioning coach at Brighton for more than 4 years over there. Another Brighton guy joining Chelsea as a head of performance, physical performance. So that's what they want to get in there, and they want to see if a friend Tom can join Chelsea as a head of performance analysis. And now Glenn Hoddle was beginning to talk on Chelsea and everything that goes on with the club. Hoddle say on Cole Palmer, he has to play as a number 10 attacking midfielder. Sometimes the higher up the pitch you go, the less ball you will get. You will be marked tight, so he's going to come in deep to get it. Cole is the game changer for Chelsea. If he scores one, he will be back on track. He has to play with what I call the arc, to work across the width of the pitch. Things happen when he is on the ball. I think that's spot on. Cole Palmer is essentially the game changer for Chelsea Football Club. But really, in recent times, the performances he has been struggling to get results in there for Chelsea. And I think that in a time when Nicholas Jackson is struggling, Cole Palmer really has to step up. With injuries, Nicholas Jackson, Cole Palmer has to step up. He really has to step up and begin to play some good football over there. And I think that's spot on from Glenn Hoddle and how he sees the game, how he expects Chelsea to control the game. It's really, really spot on from him. I think that Cole Palmer has to step up in a time like this where Nicholas Jackson is not there. Goals have to come. This is why he's the big pound player. I know a Liverpool ball game, no? A lot of Liverpool fans, like I said, without Mohamed Salah, Liverpool are nobody. But sometimes it happens, you need your man to stand up. It's important. Every club have 2 or 3 players that are their main go-to men when they need some, resurrection, if you maybe. That's what they do. And I think that Chelsea's own a bunch of friend Cole Palmer, and they need to make sure that Cole Palmer really our partner, so he will dictate the pace of the game. He will impose himself in matches, and he's going to be good enough for him. So, yeah, sure, Chelsea can get the best out of Cole Palmer, especially for coach Enzo Maresca. As Cole Palmer isn't having a very, very good time there. Glenn Hoddle also spoke about players like Pedro Neto. I say he's a top player. He can play on the left side, but he's lethal coming onto his left foot from the right. If he knows he's in the team every week, you will see him go into a player that he was at Wolves over there, and you're expecting that he gets into it. I think that's what, for me as a Chelsea fan, I've said it several times, I wasn't particularly enthused about Abrante Ayefre and Pedro Neto, and still I've not seen a lot from me. I think that this is a time where players like Pedro Neto have to get a job done. Glenn Hoddle, Maresca has done a really good job to have the number of players on taking over, to filter it out to what he had very quickly, to do what he felt was right for the team, and to keep the camp buying into what he's doing. He's doing really well. This Chelsea side are not in a relegation fight like mine was. They are on a tipping point of going up the table of game, and I think that they can be good again. And that's what former Chelsea manager Glenn Hoddle, and the legend of the club, is talking about over there, and expected to see the best out of them. And after the Madrid win, obviously, Barca 4. I'm asking a lot of questions and conversations and what they can do over there in terms of Moutinho and the possibility of a Clasico, our Champions League. Ter Stegen wants to repeat what Courtois did last season. The Belgian was injured and returned to play in the final game of the season, and that's exactly what Ter Stegen wants to do. Ter Stegen is working hard to return as soon as possible. He wants to play this season, even if it's the last few games. That's what he wants to do over there in terms of what Abrante friend of Marc-Andre Ter Stegen episode where. And now Barca sold VIP seats to Qatar's fourth advisors and UAC's NEVG to register players. La Liga suspects NEVG was used to bypass rules, citing its lack of telecom experience, ties to a Moldovan business with fraud allegations, and sudden Barca partnership. Of course, La Liga suspects Barca fraud over there in terms of the ability to register players, and in terms of how good they can be able to pass through. Of course, it still raises question about it. Pedri, Rafinha, Gavi, Dani Olmo, and Ferran showed up in training today despite being an off day. All of the Barca players went back to go and train over there. And now, according to Court Offside, Barca are interested in Thomas Partey if truly they're able to go in there to go and get a job done. I think that that's going to be a good place for Abrante Ayefre and Thomas Partey, if he's able to get in and come and do a very, very good job on FIFA for Fiifi-Manfred FC Barcelona. Lamine Yamal and now still continuing some interview. Was it feeling like a star at Barca? I say I feel comfortable. Talking about stars or not stars, I don't know. In the end, it's about playing and showing who you are. You don't need to feel like a star. You just have to do your job. I spoke about Lionel Messi. You see people comparing me to Messi. Messi is the best player in history, and being compared to him means you are doing things right. But I try to be Lamine Yamal. I want to make my own way and give everything for this shirt. Talking about Lamine Yamal, he was asked about his teammates Rafinha, and also who gives me the best tips on Barca of the veterans. Said Rafinha, I consider him a veteran because almost all of my teammates are my age or 2 years older. Rafinha always talks to me before the games in training. He's the one I have the best relationship with over there. Lamine Yamal, the best advice that has been given to me has come from Rafinha. I'm beside about the club and the team. I said, what's Barca's secret at the moment? Being a team, we have improved to be more united, to be more intense in training. What you see in matches is what you do in training. We try to give everything all together over there. And of course, this is where we draw the curtain on this morning edition on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Thank you very much for being with us, choosing us, and enjoying all the analysis. We will be back with you in the next few hours, everyone another analysis was on Fiifi-Manfred and so until then, stick and stay and do take care. Bye bye.